Ladies and gentlemen, Kenya Kwanza members of parliament are rattled and they are demanding for the arrest of Uhuru Kenyatta and arrest of Raila Odinga. I want to ask you this question. Do you think William Ruto can arrest Uhuru? The answer to that is no. And do you think William Ruto can arrest Raila Odinga? The answer to that is no. But can Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta be arrested? Yes, they can be arrested. But who can arrest them? The police can arrest Raila and they can arrest Uhuru. But can they really go and arrest Uhuru and Raila? For me, that's an area they can't venture into. Because if they could not arrest Fred Matiang'i, what tells Kenya Kwanza members of parliament that the police can actually go and arrest Uhuru and Raila? They can't arrest them. As a matter of fact, they cannot be arrested because of the demonstrations. Why? Demonstrations or picketing is legal in the country. And who is supposed to provide security? Who is supposed to protect the lives of Kenyans, like that boy in Maseno? The properties, like any property which was damaged, who is supposed to protect? That is the role of the police. But why do you think Kenya Kwanza, members of parliament, are dragging Uhuru Kenyatta into this matter? And why are they calling for the arrest of Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga? In this video, I want to give you the main reason why Kenya Kwanza members of parliament, who are actually cornered, are calling for the arrest of these two gentlemen. Before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button there, so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. YouTube will automatically notify you. Because what we do on this channel is simple. We analyze politics in a way you can't find any other place. So subscribe, YouTube will notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is right now. So please, I want to ask you to spare me around 5 or 6 more minutes to try and explain to you guys why these members of parliament are calling for the arrest of Uhuru and Raila, what you might not know. The truth of the matter, and I did opine on this platform, is that William Ruto walked into the trap which had been laid for him by Raila Odinga. The day Raila Odinga issued William Ruto with 14-day notice to meet certain demands, I knew William Ruto was not going to meet those demands. And the demands were only 3, don't be cheated. The first demand, the IBC commission recruitment. In fact, William Ruto went further and submitted names of the panel. The second demand was simple: open the server, which I know William Ruto cannot do. The third demand was on cost of living. Of course, on this, he can do something. But because William Ruto is trying to prove that it's not Uhuru Kenyatta, there was no way he was going to allow any negotiations on that matter. So Raila Odinga went ahead, called for the demonstrations. And if you want to understand the impact of the demonstrations, let me shock you by a tweet which was posted today at 19:16. That is around 7:15 p.m. right now. And it's posted on Foreign Affairs Twitter. And this is what they are saying. Foreign Affairs presents its compliments to all diplomatic missions, UN agencies, and international organizations based in Kenya, and has the honor to inform them as follows. And if you read the letter, which you can get on their Twitter, I'll do a comprehensive analysis about this letter. They're saying, for example, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs of the Republic of Kenya presents its compliments to all diplomatic missions, United Nations agencies, and international organizations based in Kenya, and has the honor to inform as follows. Just pay close attention to what they're saying. On or about 13th of March 2023, Honorable Raila Odinga, the opposition leader, called for a nationwide protest whose central purport included having his supporters march to the seat of Kenya's presidency, State House, oust the constitutionally elected President of the Republic of Kenya, and cause himself installed as the president. Now, you write this kind of a letter to diplomatic missions who are based in Kenya and they follow the development in Kenya. Raila Odinga never, at any given point, purported that he was going to go to State House to oust Ruto and that he was going there to install himself as the president. What Raila Odinga stated was that he was going to go to State House, lead his supporters to State House, and present a petition. So this tells you the impact. Why do you think they were even forced to write this letter? This letter they were forced to write because of the international attention, the media publicity that demonstration received. So the whole thing here is funny, and probably I'll do an analysis over the same tomorrow. But let us now go back to the main issue. And by the way, Raila Odinga today, because mambo ni mengi, muda ni chache, we can't do all of them. Raila Odinga today addressed the nation again, and he delivered more bad news to William Ruto. One of them is that now they'll be holding maandamano twice a week. And also Raila Odinga indicated that they are going to, according to the statement, I've just told you I was away, I'm going to listen to it, but he has mentioned 3 products or companies to be boycotted: KCB, Safaricom, and the Star newspaper. Personally, I love reading the Star newspapers. I don't know whether I'll be able to. And again, of course, I also use Safaricom. I've used Safaricom for a long time. Sometimes during the other maandamano, the other boycott, I tried leaving it, but Airtel was just problematic. Star, for KCB, I bank with them, but it's not my primary banking. So I don't think probably whether, I'm not so sure whether I'll be boycotting some of the Safaricom and the KCB, because I don't know. But why do you think Raila Odinga is calling for their boycott? There's a link, if you ask me, between, there's a gentleman called Adil Kawanja, who was recently appointed to chair the board of Safaricom by Ruto. Adil Kawanja is also a director of KCB. He's a business associate of William Ruto. So probably there's a link between Adil Kawanja, KCB, and Safaricom and Ruto, which Raila Odinga knows. Someone was telling me that there is serious, let me just refer to what this guy told me. Someone was telling me that there is uncontrolled internal borrowing in KCB, where people just go as long as someone can call here. So that internal borrowing is uncontrolled. And that is what most of these guys are using to buy shares. Like today, William Ruto, excuse me, just hold on a bit. Today, the cabinet indicated that they are going to sell government parastatals without parliament approvals. So that if you are a member of parliament and a parastatal is being sold, then you cannot really question. So the intention basically, and this is what Raila Odinga is preempting, these guys want to use KCB to get money internally to purchase some of these parastatals. But let us now get to the specific issue. Why do you think the UDA members of parliament are asking for the arrest of Uhuru Kenyatta, when they know Uhuru cannot be arrested, when they know Raila cannot be arrested, or when they know arresting Uhuru Kenyatta would be counterproductive for them. Number one, UDA and Kenya Kwanza and their politics is pegged on the support they have from the mountain. So it means for them to sustain and for them to mobilize the mountain, they must drag Uhuru Kenyatta in anything. So basically, Uhuru Kenyatta is being dragged into this as a mobilization tool in Mount Kenya. Try link Uhuru Kenyatta to the riots, then blame the riots for the collapse of Mount Kenya businesses. That's why yesterday, if you are keen, based on what Utumbi posted, all these other guys are posting, they were keen on trying to project these mandamanos as a Luo affair. And they wanted to portray the business in Nairobi as owned by the Kikuyus. Sadly for them, nothing much happened. But they want to continue dragging the name of Uhuru Kenyatta as a tool which they can use in the mountain. What they don't know is that the voters in the mountain are currently realizing that Uhuru Kenyatta was actually right, that they ought to have listened to Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. So that's the only thing they're failing to understand. But they are still dragging Uhuru Kenyatta in any other issue so that they can use it. Because remember, when Uhuru Kenyatta was the president and William Ruto was the deputy, Raila Odinga still used to organize even more serious demonstrations than what I saw yesterday across the country. Why would they insist that it's Uhuru who is sponsoring the demonstrations? If Uhuru is sponsoring the demonstrations, why not come openly? So that's number one. Number two, these guys, the members of parliament from Kenya Kwanza, are trying to gauge the reaction of Azimio supporters, specifically those who support Raila Odinga, and also they want to gauge the reaction of Kenyans on any talks of arresting Uhuru Kenyatta. And the intelligence system will be taking notes and will be giving feedback that if you arrest Uhuru, the other parts of the country will not make noise. And because Uhuru is not loved in the mountain might not make noise. But what would be the political implication? Is it a good move or no? But for Raila Odinga, if you try to arrest him, his supporters will bring chaos into the country. So don't arrest him. Or maybe the intelligence will now gather information that even if you arrest Raila Odinga, nothing will happen. Everybody will coil their tails and go back to their businesses. So they are gauging the reaction, and of course, the intelligence is also putting their ears on the ground to listen to the reaction. And I think by now, they have been briefed accordingly. Number three, why they are dragging Uhuru and talking of arresting Raila is because of Mount Kenya politics. Not what I said earlier, but see, the Mount Kenya is not trying to drift from Kenya Kwanza, but they're not coming to Azimio. That's why in Murang'a, in show of solidarity, they boycotted opening their shops. But also they never demonstrated. And people who were interviewed there suggested that they did that because they are confused with the government they elected, that this government they are seeing is not what they elected. And again, number four, in my view, I think these guys are out to shift the focus of the country from the real issue. And of course, the real issues were now coming out. The cost of living in this country is so high. The tax regime of this country is just funny. They increased the Mutumba tax and nobody is talking. So because the country now had started focusing on the real issue, the cost of living, Kenya Kwanza in my view, just ought to have come to them and told them, on the issue of cost of living, let us wait for the rains. You know, you tell people to wait for the rains when you continue adding them taxes. Doesn't make sense. So they are trying to run away from the real issue by bringing in some sideshows. And of course, if you go to Twitter today, that is what is trending, and that's what Kenyans are actually discussing. And number 4, in my view, the issue of ICC. These guys are trying to court international attention. When you say you want to arrest Raila and Uhuru because of demonstrations, and we all know that in 2007, those who were taken to ICC were taken because of demonstrations. You know, the international media, and that's why I began by reading for you that particular communique by Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The international community are following the events in Kenya. So when you say we want to arrest Uhuru Kenyatta, what will be the headline? Are you trying to interfere with the reputation of Uhuru Kenyatta and that of Raila Odinga? And lastly, I also tend to think that what Kenya Kwanza are doing is strategic for them. They are trying to counter Azimio rallies politically. But they don't have that courage to go out. Because remember, the other day, they were like, we are going to mobilize 20,000 supporters to go to the streets, to go to Raila Odinga's home. They didn't. But now they are countering that, you know, we're going to arrest you. You know, Uhuru is the one sponsoring this, you know, the economy. So they're trying to deal with the rallies politically because they know and understand that if they don't deal with them politically, then they're going to make one big mistake. The mistake which Uhuru Kenyatta committed with Ruto. When Ruto started rebelling in Jubilee, Uhuru just laughed off and monitored, waited. By the time Uhuru Kenyatta was trying to react, it was late. So Kenya Kwanza are trying so hard not to fall into that trap where they will allow Azimio to say whatever they want, do whatever they want, and when the right time comes for them to respond, it would be late. So they're dealing with the issue of mandamano politically. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.